to look at the implication of these, Professor Olawale Albert, a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. Starting off with the autonomy itself, now the president has said it has become imperative by bringing up this panel to actually ensure the implementation of autonomy for both legislature and the judiciary at the state level itself. Doesn't this administration mean well already, starting off this way?
Well, I think we have to start with a disclaimer, and it is that it is not this president that is granting autonomy to the states. The 1999 Constitution, I mean, it is clearly stated here that Section 121(3) of the Constitution, acknowledges the independence of the three arms of government, and it is to promote checks and balances that we have this in our Constitution. So if we have actually not been adhering to the Constitution of the country, and the president is saying we should at this moment, it's only reminding us of our constitutional responsibilities.
Is it not a plus? Is it not a plus for the presidency to have also realized this? This has been there for a very long time.
To me, it is not a plus. It is a reminder of state failure. Because if the Constitution asked you to do something since 1999, and you are just thinking of doing it in the year 2019, is to say that we have actually been running an illegal system.
Are you saying it's too late now?
It is not too late, but it is just to say that the president is just asking us to wake up from our slumber. And to me, I don't see anything too wonderful there. It is also a continuation of how we have been managing the country.
So the fact that
let me give you an example.
Okay.
Each time there is a problem, if there is a problem in Ibadan today, and some people are killed, the president will come on air and say, I direct the IG, I direct the chief of army staff to do something about it. Now, in a normal society, the president doesn't direct. These people should, I mean, your managing director should not be directing you to come here every morning. You know that it is your responsibility to come here. And your managing director should not be directing you every minute. So, if you have a situation where every day your managing director is directing, is to say that there is a failure of the system. So, this is another example of it. But we really have to commend the president for waking us up. But I actually don't see what our committee will be doing. Because what I would have expected is for the president to just remind us of the need to adhere to the letters of the Constitution.
Because I wanted to ask
So I don't see what the committee is doing. That will be outside the Constitution.
With this move made by Mr. President, is it Ihuru? Does this now mean that, okay, in the next 6 months, we're going to see, state legislature and judicial arm of government at the state level exercising their full powers as it ought to be? Don't forget, sir, that this is not the first time this is happening.
It is not the first time. It's like when we discuss the independence of the autonomy of local government.
Local government.
I've been coming to television stations for over 15 years discussing
about
autonomy of law.
And as of today, the state houses of assembly,
they are not, I mean,
they are forthcoming.
I think this is another drama that one of the dramas we see in the society. Yes, the states will be, that committee will sit, the committee members will take their allowances, and then a document will be presented to the president, and the president will advise the states. The president cannot force the states because the states know what they ought to be doing. But if they are not ready to do it,
so you're not optimistic about some of the works that this committee is going to be doing itself?
No.
You do not see any relevance in the committee itself, because this particular panel is actually looking at the issue of financial autonomy for the legislature and also the judiciary in terms of enforcement and ensuring that this arm of government actually have their financial autonomy without dependent solely on the system to get their finances itself. And you feel, for instance, that the implementation of this process is not needed by this committee actually set up by the government itself.
Well, I'm not saying that I don't have faith in that committee, but what I'm saying is that the committee is not going to come up with an outcome that is different from what we already have in our constitution. If the constitution says that you should wake up every morning, brush your teeth, do whatever, and you are not doing it and you are reminded, that doesn't, it's good that the president is saying it. The president is, to me, the president is merely reminding us of a gap that we have to fill in our governance system. That committee will probably be making a significant contribution to the development of our country if, at the end of the day, it advises the federal government to break state allocations into small bits. To say, instead of saying, Oyo State, your allocation this month is 10,000. If the committee says, well, don't give 10,000 to Oyo State.
Oyo Legislature.
Yes, Oyo State, so that the money comes straight to
them
but let's look at this
question we should ask ourselves.
The one that comes to local
the
government.
Joint this thing. So we have so many examples to say it. We have so many examples. Joint local government
allocation.
But to me as a researcher, I don't look at the surface of an issue. I dig deep. It's like you are looking at, donut or egg, which has 3 parts. The egg will have the outer shell, which is very hard. You find people fighting over but when you penetrate inside, you get to the whitish layer. But the sweetest part is the yolk. To me, as a researcher, I want to suspect the government. I'm suspecting the government.
Why?
To say, why are they doing it? Now, why they are doing it, to me as a researcher, if I'm writing a paper on it, is to say that probably in this new dispensation, the federal government will create a strategy that will make the federal government to be able to use the parliament against governors and use the judiciary to seal whatever they want to do. So governors can be impeached. To me, this is my own academic interpretation.
But how did you come about that? Is there any political crisis?
As a researcher, I don't look at.
That's an insinuation, actually.
To me, as a researcher, I'm not looking at what everybody is. I'm looking at why at this moment, and we call that context analysis.
Prof.
Why are we having this? So. What
is your hypothesis here?
Let me give you one.
Did you carry out any scientific method?
Let me give you one. Let me give you one. When President Obasanjo wanted to remove what is
remove? You say
yes, remove from fire state. The first thing they did was to accuse the House of Assembly members of corruption. So a few of them were taken to Abuja, they dragged them left and right, and then later, the federal government came to the real issue. Now, the only way by which you can get free out of this problem, to be freed, is for you to do this. And they pushed the fire out illegally. Go and write it down. This move is targeted at achieving a secondary goal.
So does it suggest, if what you are saying it's a good one, is anything to write?
Now the question we should ask ourselves is that at federal level, do we have autonomy? Is the federal government not harassing the judiciary? Is the federal government not harassing National Assembly?
Those are all insinuations.
Why should that be?
And allegations.
It is not insinuation.
Can you give us examples?
The Onoges case is still there. We are still dealing with the Onoges case.
So you belong to the school of thought to release Onoges is being victimized.
We know of judges that were arrested at ungodly hours of this thing and then later freed.
But the Onoye case you mentioned, he also admitted that it was an oversight, not declaring his asset.
Yes.
At this stance, you still mean that the judiciary is being manipulated in some corners by the government itself. You see, with all of this coming up already.
Yes, I mean we know the new face of the Onoges this thing. They told us that the man has 55 houses. But it has been established now that he has only 5. They said they had a billion.
I think we're going to leave that.
No. You see,
it's another issue.
There is a adage which says that if I'm going to give you clothes, you first look at mine. If I'm wearing rags and I say I want to give state new clothes. Then you begin to say, we have to do context analysis. Why are you doing this? Why is this a priority of the federal government?
Prof, it suggests that we should begin to probe or suspect any move made by the federal government.
No, that is what we call research.
But when you say
you media men, you see the media.
When you say
the media
you
look at what you see today.
You know,
but a researcher will do context analysis and will do what is called scenario building.
You know why I asked the question that, like, where did you get to that assumption itself? Is that issue of hypothesis here? Did you apply any scientific method in terms of observation, in terms of actually collecting some of your facts?
What we're just
before
trying
you
to
came
do,
up with your theory to say that.
What we're trying to do is we want to look at what happened in the past. We want to look at what happened in the past, and then we're using that to assess today. And there are several scientific tools that we can apply. And the first one I'm using here is what I call context analysis.
Okay.
If I'm leaving this station, you now give me 100,000. I will do context analysis. Why are you giving me 100,000 for coming to your station? By the time I get to my car, I say this money is ungodly, because I know that I cannot come to your station, and then you are paying me for coming to your station. So we as researchers, you see, the difference between journalists and academic researchers is journalists are playing with the ball, but scientific analysts are looking beyond. You know, they are looking beyond.
At times, journalists, we also dig deep.
We also dig deep, and we apply all the scientific methods.
But you are not regulated.
Let's stop playing with the ball.
But Prof,
let's stop playing with the ball.
I want us to look at this.
Yes. Why is it a priority now?
Okay.
Why a priority? Why is it a priority?
You've just opened the knowledge of Nigerians. You've given, Nigerians reasons to look the other way. But let's look at this. We should blame state governors for all this. If it's enshrined in the Constitution,
and they are not doing
that
it.
State legislature, state judiciary should be given autonomy, and they are not. What do you think they're hiding? Because you can't ask an average governor today. He wants to pocket his legislature.
We should ask the federal government same thing, because what the states are doing, the federal government is doing. You know, we should ask same question. You know, if you when you're a leader, we have three types of leader: the one that stays in front, the ones that stay in the middle, and then the one at the back. For us, a good leader should lead the battle. When I was doing my first degree in the University of Ibadan, we had a very nasty decree that says that when you are doing exam, if you cheat, you'll be jailed 21 years. If anybody cheat on you, and there is an element of complicity, the two of you will go and do 21 years. I think that year will produce the best graduates in Nigeria.
Because of the law.
Because of the law. Now the leaders put the law there, and they were ready. They said, okay, they passed a law on drugs trafficking. You know, they executed three whatever. But you find a federal government that will say, go and do this. But the federal government itself is not ready to do it.
Prof, we must say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program this morning, because it's becoming so interesting that we're not looking at the time again, but of course we need to wrap up. Thank you so much, Professor Olawale Albert. I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be back to look at some of these issues, because we need to dig deeper than we have dug this morning.
You see, you should archive some of these programs. You play them back when you begin to see the reason why they are doing what they are doing.
Okay, Prof is sounding like a prophet this morning. Okay, this is where we're going to wrap it up for today, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us. I am Olawale Albert. Join us same time tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program.
And I'm also enjoining you to like our social media platform. That's on Instagram and Twitter at AM Cafe Daily 1 on Twitter, and of course at AM Cafe Daily on Instagram to get some of the synopses of what occurred on the program this morning. My name is Bolabo Famous Cold, wishing you a blessed day.
Impact Africa Television. Explore, entertain, elevate.